Begin at tuneslikebeer.com.
She waits on her baby, morning sun that brighten up my day. I'm in love with you, and girl, won't you stay? If I tell you I'm in love with you, tell me you feel the same. So stay, baby, oh, you know that I want you, and I will never ever break your heart, though. Baby, oh, you know that I want you, and I will never ever break your heart, though. You are the air I breathe, the one for me, my medicine, my only medicine. You are the air I breathe, the one for me, my medicine, my only medicine. Yeah, I love you, baby. Hey, hey, hey. God, I love you, baby. Hey, hey, hey. God bless the day I'm upon you, oh. I feel good, I'm around you, oh. Yeah. Baby girl, your love me, I ever know. You stole my heart, but I let go, yeah. Just to prove my love all the time I lie. If I break your heart, then let me die. Baby, oh, you know that I want you, and I will never ever break your heart, though. Baby, oh, you know that I want you, and I will never ever break your heart, though. I love you, baby. Hey, hey, hey. God, I love you, baby. Hey, hey, hey. LEC is up. You brought me life. You are my life. You are my love, yeah. When I needed love, you brought me love. You are my love. You are my love, yeah. Baby, oh, you know that I want you, and I will never ever break your heart, though. I love you, baby. Hey, hey, hey. God, I love you, baby. Hey, hey,
I'm a mermaid. I'm not allowed to plenty again, but you, I can't lie to you. You know why? Because I won't spend the rest of my life with you. More coming here, I take it pay. You will take it too. You know why? Because my way you look good. See your fancy there. I call her present my yeah. Will you marry me?
Yes, I will.
Love and caring.
Yes, I will.
To love and to hold.
Yes, I will.
Reach up for.
Not too sure.
Will you marry me?
Yes, I will.
To love and to hold.
We all know the headache we go through sending money to our loved ones, friends, and family in Liberia. High fees, long lines in banks, the usual complaint of the system being down, such a waste of time and energy. That is why I was very happy when I learned that SendWave is now in Liberia. So now I can send money anytime from anywhere directly from my smartphone to the MTN Lone Star Cell mobile money account of a loved one, friend, or family within seconds for just a tiny fee So download SendWave now to your phone from your Apple Store or Google Play Store. Add your details, and don't worry, they are very safe and secure. And start sending money today. Don't forget to insert the promo code COSTA to get free $5 credit added to your first transfer. SendWave is secure, super fast, and by far the most affordable way to send money to Liberia. I'm Henry P. Costa and a very happy customer. Thank you.
Today is Thursday, the 3rd day of August, AD 2023. So, folks, good morning, good afternoon, depends on where you are joining us from. Welcome to yet another edition of the Costa Morning Show. My name is Bwakai Amara Kamara, and I'm here with my friend and brother Darlington Collins. You know, Josh, you are playing a song from J Slot called Celebrate. I want you to drop that song. Yeah, maybe I just fall in love again with that song this morning. Yeah, I just want shine. I just want party, just to make the mokofi and make my mama happy. That's why this year is my year to shine. That's just lot with the song Celebrate. You know, I can listen to that song over and over because the wordings in that song it send a lot of message out to people that feel downhearted, people that are trying to give up in life, but you have to keep pushing because one day you will celebrate and make your mother and family happy. Let me say good morning to Mr. Darlington Collins and welcome to the Costa Show. Good morning, Darlington.
Good morning, boy guy. Good morning.
Yep, it's good to have you here this morning. Today is Thursday, and we just have a day in between to the official kickstart of campaign in Liberia. Welcome again to the Costa Show.
Yeah, man. 68 days to go, boy guy. Sometimes it's just becoming like every time you look at from October 10th, now we have 68 days to election day, and we hope our people are in high spirit to exercise their democratic franchise and air their views. I mean, no matter how disappointed you are, like over the last 5 years, you've been calling here and there, expressing your disappointment in the regime. You have a perfect opportunity if you want a change of government to do that within 68 days. I mean, like I remember in grade school they said the test is right around the corner.
Mm-hmm. So even if you're a lawmaker and you know you have done well for your district, there's no need of you even trying to, go out there. If you can go there to reach out to people, but the job that you did for the past time will speak out for you. Even President Weah, I don't know, President Weah is campaigning more than even the opposition. Because what am I saying so? President Weah, thank you. The thank you rally, they place his photos from Broad Street all the way to EAW Junction. Then what again? Just the other program they were having, they gone time again. They place a photo from Broad Street again all the way to EAW Junction. So I get me asking myself, why is it that?
A lot of the men get their own printing machine.
Okay, this is what they did. They have, it's a portion of the Monrovia City Corporation called the era of city beautification. They have that sector. They get it there. They call they're responsible for beautifying a city.
Our man Edwin Tisbel take it there.
But he's not there again.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that was his idea. He
so now the person that is replacing Edwin Tate there, that's what you need to do. Every occasion when Jefferson Koji birthday coming, make sure that you place Jefferson Koji photos from Broad Street all the way to EAW Junction. When Joshua birthday coming, you have to do same. Every top government official, once their birthday is coming, you have to place their photo on the principal street of Monrovia from Broad Street all the way to EAW Junction. So that's their own responsibility. City beautification. So that's how they beautify Monrovia, by placing Joshua photo all over.
You know, yes, the CDC have always been pre-campaigning. You know, when Honorable Yeka Kolova got pissed off and took his own banner of political leaders at the Capitol building, that was because of that. Because the guys have placarded Mr. Weah picture all over the country. So he said this is wrong, and you can be running a democracy like that, where when campaign is not open, the ruling establishment, because they have access to state resources, all on a different light poles in the country, they put Mr. Weah picture there. The president put one little small street light up and put Weah project. What kind of country is that? Small street light, they put Weah, they let him account that exposes his name, that the kind of thing he want to see. What kind of country is that? But you will continue to have such a democracy when you have a man like Garrison Yellow, who is the governance commission chair. And Bueka, I mean, Center has been the Center for Anti-Corruption have raised serious issue with the current chairman of the governance commission, who is named on Mr. Weah campaign. You know, the governance commission, I'm not saying that Garrison Yellow is not entitled to supporting his side politically, but when you sit at such place like the governance commission, you come with so much in terms of your democratic credential, your sense of nationalism and patriotism over the years, that you can be, you know, somebody who is more balanced. You know, so that's why you don't just appoint people to the governance commission. Most of the people who made their way to the governance commission are people who have serious insight on what good governance is supposed to be. But you take Garrison Yellow, who is a partisan, now deputy campaign person of the CDC, because you want to do some work in Nimba, to say he's going to do serious thing there, it's very unfortunate. Now, why you will see the governance commission will be putting President Weah will be putting a picture all over the street, and GC will just be there and doing nothing. Nobody saw the legs of Amos Sawyer. I mean, peace be to his actress. That the Sawyer, you know, while serving as governance commission, was in that role, and he was actively campaigning for the Unity Party. In fact, he was not even a member. He was nowhere seen near the political activity of Unity Party. That's the kind of person you need, you know, responsible state people are in that kind of position. But what you expect, you see more of the president paper.
Yeah. Most especially the white campaign starting the day after tomorrow. We expect it to be all streets going on. We expect the president picture to be more than even the opposition photos. So, and Darlington, does that indicate that the president didn't do well in his overly campaigning to be re-elected, or that just showmanship?
My man, the ratings are clear on the wall. I'm a strong critic of the Unity Party Saliv administration. But like them or hate them, Madam Saliv, in her first tenure, managed to build a country that has international credibility and reputation. In early first tenure, you used to hear about money walking from the bank with no receipt. You know, so yeah, that I mean, even the Mingo resources teachers were taking, they were getting paid on time. You saw semblance of working for you. Police officers in the street, you know, getting paid. I remember at the time. The public works started to bring, you know, the little traffic light you started to see in the country. The city was clean. Not super clean, as she posted the last time, that, you know, anytime she drive through the streets of Kigali, it reminds her when Madam Bro.
Just listen. She tweeted, I think it was yesterday. She said, "This is a message from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf." She said, "On my recent travels, I was impressed by the improvements made by airport management at the Rabat International Airport in Liberia, including the jet bridge. Those changes will make a difference for Liberians and make a positive impression on visitors coming from abroad." Jet bridge, Madam Sirleaf, jet bridge. When she tweeted this, I was like, what are they over trying to show?
You got jet bridge to the airport there?
Yeah, there's a jet bridge there, but it ain't been working. So she saying now like
So the
people
car
they
can
don't
still
use-
carry the car can still carry her on the tarmac and to board the plane.
yes.
But she
That was
left.
the happen. So
She left.
probably
She left
she
one
take
day on
it
Mr.
today.
We are how you managing it now? I know. Yeah, that to defense. That also. At least she leave one there.
So she said she
When you,
impressed.
when you do
Because-
it, that one I have been in.
But Darlington, man,
I mean, the country is so mediocre, right? When you want to criticize public official, the people can make defense when they say, and at least in Steve or in Bay. That's the country we found saying. So one would think that Ellen building such, a type of an airport is development. I mean, that one is better off than what we had there before. But amen, Boyka, there are a lot more that we could have done with our airport, especially after all these years of the airport just being, and that place is not even an airport, it's an airstrip. But at least she managed to put one terminal there. So, and that is the reason why the flights are so expensive to go to Liberia. The runway, everything not working. Delta gave her administration money to fix that runway. The area we don't know. No, take in fact, your cousin Musa Beretu was in that noise again. Yeah, that Delta money eating on the runway. We don't know what happened. So yeah, my man, that's the society. So Ellen was throwing to her. I said, but Ellen, you want to talk to Koji? Just talk direct. Don't be going through their corner. So that is it. And Bweka, they almost say anytime she drives through the streets of Kigali, it reminds her when Madame Broad was sitting there. But the CDC is rigorously campaigning, and the Liberian people know that Mr. Weah has decimally performed. You know that. Like the Unity Party or hate them in their first tenure, you could see that Ellen was going to get re-elected. It was clear, it was landslide that Ellen was going to get re-elected. In fact, there was no need for opposition politics. But just because it is the custom and the tradition of people opposing you, that's why the CDC ran. Somebody say fairy tale apple.
Darlington Costa can say you can stand from the other side, you pee cross the airport, you go to the other side.
But I said I heard that inner airport hot. It's not small inner airport.
My man, they play the being hot.
I need the old man level with air conditioning. Why are you not keeping the air conditioning on? You're not doing that, man.
Yeah, but that just it. We just try to start off with that. Let's say good morning to Mr. Gonglo. Well, welcome, Mr. Gonglo. Are you there? You have to unmute yourself. You have to unmute yourself. You are muted.
Yeah, Waga, I'm actually struggling in Miami to get online. I have 85 gig. I mean, that's so much, but to just get on the data, I mean, on the internet in the morning is kind of challenging for me here. This is my house, and I mean, I get Orange. I'm on Orange now, but every time I get on Orange, I will struggle. On Blue Star, I have the wireless portal here. I have 90 gig. Then on Orange, I have 85 gig. Still, I struggle. I mean, maybe for the next 5 minutes.
Miami is making you to do data analysis, my man.
It's kind of tough. But just quickly, I'll listen to you, Waka. There's an argument that I'm taking this out to both CDC and the Unity Party people. We have to be honest and keep track of our history. You're talking about, Saturday, the president is going to have more pictures than any other candidate. True. Because what is the history? Even the Unity Party used government revenues to campaign. In 2011, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf picture all over compared to 2005. She was not in power. Okay? The UP was going all around the country putting her finger in the air, one round. The same thing CDC is doing. They are copying from the template. The two political parties use government resources to maintain themselves. Unity Party lost power. They could not maintain their party headquarters. But when they were in power, they did because they were relying on government resources. Okay, these two political parties have bad history, they are bad managers of the state resources. That's why the Liberian voters should reject them. Their policy is collect taxes and revenue and consume them. That's their policy. Their economic policy is go and borrow from the World Bank and mismanage it. Their foreign policy is to go and beg. That's our foreign policy. Part of what they do, give concession, bogus concession for that matter, as proven by the latest audit of natural resources, and take signature bonus from these companies and divide it. The same thing, nothing changed. The UP one, nothing changed. The CDC one, nothing changed. The country remains the same. Let us now address these two political parties. They have no idea on how to transform the state. It's hard time Liberian voters look to alternatives.
All right, thank you so much. That's your opening, and you make your point on the topic that we've been, we just chip in on. Darrington, there's this tension within the sub-region, coup d'etat, all over the place. There is a statement out, according to the Ministry of Information, there in Sierra Leone, there was a planned coup in Sierra Leone, but they failed, according to them. In Guinea, we have a military government. Now in Sierra Leone, there was a plan, but later on the government got to know about it. They arrested all those that were behind such plan to take over in Sierra Leone. In Guinea-Bissau, in Niger, Mali, and other countries, West Africa is becoming
Burkina Faso,
West Africa, the entire West Africa, is at the verge of becoming, something that shouldn't be happening in Africa. We should stand for democracy, but militaries are taking over administrations in various countries. I want us to look at this because Guinea, we are experiencing that in Guinea, and there was an alarm in Sierra Leone.
Mm-hmm.
Liberia, we don't know. I'm not praying for that in Liberia. I'm not saying anybody should do that, but it should serve as a wake-up call for us here in Liberia.
Bweka, when I try to make these kinds of analysis about military regime taking over, I want to be very careful with certain things, especially you don't want to come off as being inciting our local military about making some meaningful military intervention. It is true that when suppressive regime come to power and marginalize democratic tendency, the only radical action that removes such a regime is military intervention. So I'm not surprised across the sub-region on the continent of Africa when you see young people in the military with so much courage who want to change the course of history. They may be ignorant, they may be stupid, and very childish in gambling their quest to take power, but toppling an administration that they believe is suppressive is something that they will attempt to do, even if they come and be worse like the previous administration that they have toppled. You will see these things in the sub-region. For example, look at Guinea. Look at who overthrew President Alpha Conde. The young man was very strategically aligned and close to President Conde until he staged a military coup. And that coup was planned strategically. In fact, today, the guys are still trying to understand how the guys took over. That man was so close to President Alpha Conde. When you see pictures of him, he was the top security guy holding umbrella most of the time around Alpha Conde. In Mali, the military taking over. I'm not surprised. This might be the second coup attempt on President Julian Marabio. I just feel sorry for people being ill-advised, especially because BO2, he's very ruthless. He have killed people before who attempted to overthrow his government. Could it just be propaganda to go after certain critical people in the army? because that's how some African leaders behave. They just look for people who they believe are in the leadership of the army, who they think that are not aligned to them. Either they are not their tribal men, they will just place treason charges on them to go after them. So you will see all of these things on the continent of Africa. But again, with Liberia, it's a very peculiar case. One time in your history, the military made intervention. That was 1980. That's like approximately over nearly 40 years since you have military intervention. So the military is a reflection of the Liberian society. The very same thought process you see how the regular Liberian things is how the men in the army think. we are just so meek. They don't have a fair appreciation of African history. You will have military in the country. The children on the barracks are honor deprived. They are not going to school. No regime come to power and take the military seriously and prioritize that to say, oh, when the military come to power, they must be treated in dignity and honor and respect. Not only the military will witness the whole scale looting of the state. And in fact, this current military will be playing partisan. So for us, I am not concerned. Liberia, in fact, we have a military that is on Kuwait. You know the Kuwait they can tie in the plastic. So Mr. Weah can go to bed and sleep. That this military is eating basically chobeta in Liberia parlance. You know the chobeta, and they are sucking Kuwait. Unlike those French boys, they don't have time for stupidity. All those francophone countries, look around. Whether it is Mali, whether it is the Gambia, whether it is in Guinea, when the military believe that a regime is suppressive, they make interventions. And not that military intervention is the way. In fact, ECOWAS have taken a position not to recognize, military who come to power violently, especially in anti-democratic faction. But again, the military, they are part of the society. If you come to power and you are so corrupt, they too feel the pinch. They see your wife, for example, like Julia Malabio's wife, she's very flashy. All she wears is expensive, luxurious design. So again, for us, Bweka, that's why let Sergeant Doe or hate him. He holds a very entrenched role in our history. For over 100 years, the Chewing Party held power. And Sergeant Doe and other people, they were not prepared to live on suppression that some of our great-grandfathers have lived on. They had some courage. Even when Doe came to power and he was very corrupt, it took another military leader who has some deep sense of history, General Thomas Puyongpa, to say, this Doe man must be stopped. Because there was not the trajectory of this revolution. So General Puyongpa thought it necessary to make intervention. Even in his death, the fact that Puyongpa and others decided not to live on suppression, that gave the struggle some level of hope. But Bweka, Liberia is a very different case.
Yeah, but Darrington, let's look at Russia involvement. We
don't want the military to even be concerned.
No,
because the people will elect this government out of power by themselves.
Yeah, so Mr. Gonglo, I'm coming. Darrington, let's look at Russia involvement in West Africa, because this is the ECOWAS will come out with a statement. The US will come out with a statement, but Russia will say we are there to support when you need our assistance. Come on us, we are here.
Are you saying that the Kremlin have issued statements supporting military takeover of those governments?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
I have not read any statement from the Russian, state to say they support, coup d'etat in Africa. I don't think so. But what I do know is that the Russians love those kinds of revolutionary intervention. They love that. The Americans are I think.
Yeah, Mr. Gonglo,
I think what Bwaka is referring to is that group you're talking about. They are non-state actors. They are the group that they are allied to Russia in the Ukraine war. They are just militant.
Wagner group?
They are out for hire. So they are non-state actors, but that's not Russia. So
I think
that
that's
group is
exactly
already in Burkina. They are already in Burkina Faso, helping Burkina Faso military to fight. So all Niger new military leader has done is to ask them for support. So that's not asking Russia, even though they are backed by Russia.
That's what I'm saying. Russia would not want to be seen like that, except that for their mercenary group, I mean the Wagner group. So the Wagner group, they are noted for those kinds of activities. They can engage in those kinds of, my man, because those kinds of groups survive, when there's insurrection. So you see, Bio too is in hot water with the Americans after he stole the election.
Yeah, but
Quiet.
if I can come in on this, let me just come in on a little bit. You see, let's look at this in a context. You see, what is happening in West Africa, which is very shameful. In 2002, I was working in Kenya, and I listened to the guys from the South, Zimbabwe and other countries, Malawi, and they were saying to me, you guys in West Africa has always been Africa-headed in terms of promotion of democracy and human rights. If you take Africa collectively, most of the problems Africa have suffered, some in Central Africa, but collectively West African countries lag behind on many indicators in Africa. And we are a very big bloc, one of the richest region on the continent. So here is what ECOWAS leaders have been doing. I don't support military coup, but sometimes military coups are also necessary. I will say this. West African leaders have been sitting down and fraudulent elections have been taking place. Starting with Nigeria, Tinubu election was fraudulent by every measure. It's clear. But what did the United States and the European Union do? What did they do? Because they have economic interest in Nigeria, and the Nigerian guys are no nonsense people. If you play hard with them, they're going to hate your economic interest in the country. They went along with the results. Despite the fact that even the requirements of the 25% went in Abuja, which is in the Constitution, that Peter Obi has, adequately argued in the court, Tinubu is still recognized by the Western countries because that's it. Today, Tinubu is saying he's going to, because Nigeria is a military giant in this region. When they say ECOWAS is moving militarily, it's Nigeria, nothing but Nigeria. If other countries are just sending troops, it's only to say it's a collective thing, but it's Nigeria, okay? They're going to foot the bill. Tinubu is saying he's going to remove the Nigerian military leader by whatever means. I think he's giving the deadline ECOWAS this Saturday, okay? It's a cutting point.
So what is
Tinubu's own credibility? He staged a democratic coup against the voters in Nigeria. Today he's in power because of the fraudulent election. Okay, if you look across the region in recent history, there has been attempt. Some of the places where coup has taken place, there has been attempt on like Guinea, constitutional term limit manipulation led to the coup in Guinea. What's happening in Senegal recently, the demonstration, and now the opposition leader is in jail, constitutional term manipulation. And ECOWAS, these things are happening when ECOWAS leaders and OAU leaders are silent. When the military intervene, and they say, no, we don't want, because when military intervene, the reason why leaders get angry and overly react is because it threatens their power personally too. Because if they are coup rising across Africa, they themselves get nervous. Okay? So that's part of the reason. And in Niger, what is happening? There's a guy, read the history. The guy who was overthrown in Niger was fraudulently elected. In fact, what happened was not even election, by every measure, was not a democratic election. It was clear, the writing was there, that there was going to be a military coup. It was just a matter of time. But that's the Western country led by France. It is their interest because they are fighting Al-Qaeda and Al-Qaeda affiliate, Boko Haram, all of them. They are there from Libya. They are trying to make inroad in West Africa. So France took a puppet that he is committed to them and say, yeah, that's the elected president. So you expect there to be a backlash because it went against the popular will of the people. So that's why you have a coup there. And today, ECOWAS is nervous, and the actual ECOWAS did not take on Guinea. The actual ECOWAS did not take on Burkina Faso. ECOWAS want now to move militarily in Niger because France and America are demanding that. That absolute nonsense. They ought to negotiate with the military leader. They ought to call for what? A return to the barrel through democratic election. That should be the negotiation, not militarily moving them from power. We cannot continue to subjugate issues on the continent to the interests and caprices of the Western country. We cannot do that. We have to fight on what is best in African interest, not what is best in Western interest.
All right, that's the voice of Mr. Gonglo, and we, we're talking regional politics this morning. We just thought it wise to flag what's happening in our sub-region. Gentlemen, I saw the a notice of acceptance of candidature of Mr. Nathaniel Fallow McGill. Mr. McGill, he's been accepted by the National Elections Commission to contest in the upcoming election. I think Bill Tuawitu and Prince Johnson is accepted. All those that are on sanction list, we thought that the National Elections we thought from my understanding, I thought the statement from the Americans who have placed the National Elections Commission on some top radar to at least take some actions on those sanctioned officials. But the other way around is not going like that. Probably our constitution doesn't call for that. So all of the sanctions officials, they have been certificated and they will be contesting in the upcoming elections. So now let's look at morality. We talk about our country being developed. Once we are now fighting corruption, once we are now standing up for a cause to help this country, we'll keep being where we are. Darlington, this is a clear indication that we are not living up to our number one a message from our number one ally, which is the Americans.
Well, Bwaka, I don't know what faith you have in the Elections Commission to want them to take action, but to do that was to abrogate powers to the NEC that they do not have on our laws. And to be fair, I mean, the NEC is not a court. They only have subject matter jurisdiction, quasi judiciary power. They have a governmental agency that only look at issues of electoral matters. So that is why you have your Ministry of Justice. If the Americans internationally accuse these people of certain things, it is your Ministry of Justice, headed by Councilor Musa Din, who's supposed to probe an investigation. The president said those people are going to be investigated. What happened to the investigation? Did he constitute an investigation?
No.
He didn't. So you can expect the NEC is not a court, to act, to do the role of the Ministry of Justice. So again, it is McGill's, it is Senator Johnson, it is Bill Tuawe, it is their constitutional right to allow them to contest. And the Americans don't even expect anything less than that. What the Americans was possibly expecting is that the Ministry of Justice was going to investigate those officials. And when investigation uncover, people are either held liable for a crime or so. Then they could feed the full weight and extent of the law. But everything that Nathaniel McGill did as Minister of State was sanctioned by Mr. Weah. You think Mr. Weah wants smoking gun to go investigate McGill? McGill did not just act on his own. McGill was the chief of staff of the president. He acted with the blessing of the presidency. So to investigate McGill was to deepen wounds around the presidency. So again, if we have bigger certificate, in fact, those guys you just mentioned, I think the NEC should have even given them their certificate in a frame, put it in glass, and award them for public corruption, and give it to them. But again, even us who want to remove the Weah administration, when I mean us in opposition, we are basically saying that we don't care about the feelings of the Americans. So let America lead people, man. That's what you hear some of our friends saying. We got to win first. Because when America sanction individuals, they want you not to do business. And you are a serious you because political parties are government in waiting. What would be the role of the Americans if Mr. Weah attempt to steal election from you? They will just watch, they will just sit idle manner and just watch you. Because have you exercised? Because one thing about winning an election, any fool can win an election. Like Mr. Weah we have today. Winning an election is one thing, but when you win an election, the question of leadership answers the concern of victory. Because you will celebrate victory, you will parade, you will beat drum. But when you win the presidency, who benefits? The people benefit more, or just you and your friends and family will benefit? Because internationally, let's say Mr. We are to over. No serious concession going to our country. The business climate is not healthy for investors to come, and that is why Councillor Tiewon Gonglo is telling you that with the respect of rule of law, where people who will come to invest, if they believe their rights are trampled upon, they can go to court. Not having a corrupt judiciary system that gives you economic growth, that brings people to want to do business in such an economic market. That's what Gonglo is telling you about respect of the rule of law. But if you have a compromised president, if you have a president who will probably call down to the court and have this person remove their business interest not secure, it is what you will get. So again, the Americans want us to have worker. If you listen, I always refer us on the show to the party comment of the American ambassador. He said, is that the best Liberia can do? That you will keep on electing people who just state coffers. Not because they are old wine, they come in new bottles, and they camouflage themselves behind the aging nature of Joseph Boaga, and they present themselves as immaculates and Puritans. So you are not concerned about their role play. You say, oh, we're not focusing on one man. But there are people who internationally, the people don't want to see, they are identifying with your man. If your man win the presidency, see what is happening in Sierra Leone. The Millennium Challenge Compact cash money that Sierra Leone passed, they may not even get it because the Americans are not even looking their way. The Americans are tightening the knots and bolts on Judah Marabio. Bio, as the president, will not suffer because the white will still make expensive trips. But it is the Sierra Leone people who, if they were depending on any aid from America, they will not get it. So if you elect people who are in bed with sanctional officials, whether it is George Weah or whether it is Ambassador Joseph Boaga will probably just be collecting concession or rentia from Asula Meta, from APM Terminal. He will pay salary, but you will still get in the same basket you are in. Because when America sanction you, all of those companies that are American owned, that have American shareholder, before they can do business in your country, they want to know what is the State Department advised on that country. What is a business-friendly environment? My man, the Americans, they are not just small potato. Somebody can look at the American ambassador when he read a statement, they said don't do business. We don't even calculate the ripple effect or the trickle-down effect of the Americans or every American ambassador statement. The people, they are very serious. Look, whether you change a regime, American foreign policy as it is now on abroad will not change. Because don't read that over notes. And not like one deputy minister leave, another partisan deputy minister can't care about what the minister Kalibo Gonglo left as a standing over, do he care? But when you bring new ambassador, he want to know the perspective of the former outgoing ambassador. So whether you celebrate with the McCarthy level, it's not going to teach anything. The new person that they might bring might even be even more wretched.
Yes. So Mr. Gonglo, should we say they should be left with the Liberians? Send the NEC is not capable of doing something. Liberians should see the need now that this person been on sanction list. So there is need that we don't give them state power. But from the look of things, Emele Magio may likely win Magibi County because the numbers he's putting out there, the people are yearning, they're saying that this particular man they won. If you see the numbers, you see Magio when he entered Magibi.
The poor Magibi said they want 10 of Magio. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? It's even more than
They won't tell
Yeah,
you.
it's even more. The number Maggie is pulling is more than CDC, is more than UP. I saw the crowd. He is more than UP. But yeah, it's the thing. The thing about the sanction, I think it's a symptom. It's just like you get headache. The doctor didn't tell you when you get headache. Headache is not a sickness. Headache shows that something is wrong somewhere in your body. When you get, so that's what I look at the sanction. The sanction is really indicating that something is chronically wrong fundamentally with the governance in Liberia. That's what it shows. So how do we address that? The way you address it is to do away with the government that have that. That's the UP and the CDC. We need to do away with them. That's why it shows. Because they are the problems. This sanction, that's the first time we're having such sanction on Liberian individuals in the history of this country. So we should do away with that. And the thing I want to say that, look, yesterday, I read in the newspaper, I know you brought this, but I wanted to bring this in. It's been 33 years since the Lutheran massacre. The Lutheran Church massacre survivors made a request to the AFL to acknowledge, just to say publicly, that yes, it was the AFL that went to the church and killed harmless people. We know the government of Liberia, both the UP and the CDC, are government of impunity. They rule by the law of impunity. CDC and Unity Party rule by the law of impunity because they are the government of impunity. So they never care about this thing. So the guys are called, the veterans are saying, look, just acknowledge that your people went to the Lutheran church and killed us and kill our people. The AFL is here to respond. So for me, I think all these things present the sanction, the issue of the Lutheran church, and the issue of impunity present a larger fundamental question for this country. How do we address it? We cannot address it with people who are doing the same thing. That Darlington was saying, those in opposition represented by Joseph Boakai Kiam that say we just need to win. Because this old man is so desperate at the age of 80 that's my last chance. I just need to do the horrible things to win. I don't care what other things about. So I can engage in sanction busting. On this very show, Wanda Freeman was here and he explained to us what sanction busting is. He said Joseph Boakai was involved in sanction busting. He said Jeremiah Kun was involved in sanction busting. He gave the example. He said all Prince Johnson did was, and Prince Johnson, that's what I love this guy. The guy went to his church. He said, look, my son Kun wanted to run in 2029, but because I got a sanction and I have to run, I can't run. So I called my son. I said, son, come and run.
In America, Kalibo, not to cut you off, the Americans are listening to the analysis of Prince Johnson. And I said this, Boakai, to a friend. Senator Johnson told the Liberian people that the running mate of Joseph Boakai will come from Nimba. And that will be somebody from the NDR. He said that on the record. And for sure, it came to pass. So the impression that the American has, who are those calling the shots? Who are those calling the shots?
So that's sanction busting. So Boakai, Joseph Boakai, George, we are involved in sanction busting. Okay? They undermine the American sanction. What it means that any of them come to power, this country will continue to be in hardship, right? So that's what Liberians should do away with Joseph Boakai and we are. They should reject them. They are bad for the country, okay? The other thing is, and I'd like to add this, the American ambassador Patton comment, he did not call the name, but you were referring to Joseph Boakai. When he said somebody, a political actor out there said before the name, they are running me, they contacted the American. The American said it's okay to deal with certain party.
He did say that. He did say that.
Further, that was Boakai was talking to. Boakai said to people,
yeah, I said he said that on the record. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you that he said that.
Before Boakai said to some people that he asked the American people to say it's okay to deal with NDR so long and not PYJ. Okay? That you are referring to Boakai directly because he's a diplomat, you could not call the name of another leader, right? This is hypocrisy. Liberians, and I'm shocked, that very educated people sit in the United States and in Liberia and support this kind of nonsense, right? We have to stop it if we love this country.
So,
Boyka and we are bad for the country. We should reject them.
so Mr. Gonglo, you are trying to say that if
I think our policies represent an existential threat to the country.
so from that point where you said somebody said that Boakai contacted the Americans and the American told him that yes, it's good to
No,
to
Baka, I come in. I think what Calibo is saying, and let me go back a little bit further.
Boyka,
On the
Mhm.
show, I
Mhm.
come in Calibo. Henry Costa said on the show that he was informed by U.S. sources that during picking Jeremiah Kuhn, the Americans were front on it. In fact, the United States said he was lying. He never spoke with the Americans. What of course allowed, what he thought true, the United States responded to him the way they wanted to respond to him. But the U.S. ambassador said you can find a tape. You left finding tape, and you worker, so you should find that tape. The U.S. ambassador said publicly that a certain political leader said told the public that it was okay for them to pick certain people from certain places. He said it is still not okay for you to pick people linked to sanction individual. Find that recording, play, listen to it. Because sometimes too, our people, when Liberians are fixated on supporting a political side, we tend to not listen or remember things that were said in the past. It's okay for us to listen to them. Maybe we are lying. Maybe we didn't analyze the American.
Boyka, it's not weird. It's not weird that said that.
It's there.
It's Boyka that said
You can
that.
play.
It's Joseph Boyka that said that.
All right, so
You find that recording, or we will play it tomorrow.
We need to come. It's Joseph Boyka that said that. It was not President Weah. It was not President Weah. It's Joseph Boyka that said that. So it was a rebuke of this old man. This old man line. It was a rebuke of him.
But my let's look at if even the first time that Prince Johnson visited Ambassador Boga, that was when Costa was still supporting Ambassador Boakai and the United Party. Prince Johnson first visit to Ambassador Boakai. It was highly welcome. Costa posted about it. Oh, Ambassador Boakai was in a meeting with Prince Johnson and trying to get his support to the United Party, and it's a welcome meeting. Later on, he have to delete the post. According to him, there was a message from the Americans saying that that post wasn't necessary because they were not like supporting his idea on the United Party going in bed with a man like Prince Johnson. Now, here we are, guys.
Waka, before you ask your question, I know the line you want to go here. I spoke with Henry when he shared that post. It took a while before even Henry did. I spoke with him. I remember Henry explained to me that he was quite reluctant to share that post. He was being pressured from the base, that is Waka base here, that Henry will send the post to you. Why you don't want to share it? Because he has one of the largest social media following in Liberia. Let's give it to him. He has one of the largest. When Henry Costa makes one post, it's going to about 20,000 people, minimum. Okay? After 1 month, maybe 60,000 people have seen it. If you go Costa, maybe your post just going to 4,000 or 5,000 people, right? So Costa, it's a big deal. They asked him to share. When he shared it, I remember I read some of I spoke with him. Someone tested him, and I'm not going to say where that person is from, but somebody tested Henry and said, listen, this is having a legal exposure for Ambassador Boyka to begin to meet with someone unsanctioned, because the way the Justice Department acts on foreign sanction is not very fast. It takes time. The Department of Treasury has come out with this, but the Department of Justice will take time to gather evidences, to evaluate the sanction regime, who has undermined it, whether it has been effective, who are the players undermining the sanction, when they come to do it and they start to track people who have undermined the sanction, they may be pointing to some of the people who do and say, oh, these people have undermined American sanction. And then they will be facing the repercussion. Like Wonder Freeman explained here, he said some of the things the sanction are king. It was not just something that really started under WIA. For example, in the case of PYJ, when they talk about selling vote or getting money out of you, of course, who knows? 2011, they probably started tracking him. And for them to, it's not just something that is done quickly. Wendell Freeman, he's a financial intelligence expert. He explained it here. Okay, so it's not just something that happened under WIA. Okay, so we have to be careful here. The fact is,
his internet gone again. So, but Darlington, the statement that you said, Ambassador Bwaka talk about, I don't know where he made that statement.
No,
and because
the Americans did not say that he made it publicly. The statement, when you remember when Costa made that allegation that the Americans told him doing that, and some of the friends of his parents said, no, the American not tell you nothing like that. We spoke to the American ourselves. So he said a certain political leader is parading this thing in the media. He said in the media, whether it is propaganda, that the Americans say it is okay for you to pick certain people from certain places. He said it is still not okay. But what kind of recording is right there? You can find it and play it. Maybe we are missing.
I want to know, was it JMB that said that, or who really said it? Because people are making we are not.
He was responding to the Bwaka camp, the American ambassador.
So Costa was responding to the Bwaka camp, or the American ambassador was
responding to the Bwaka camp.
Okay, yeah, now I understand.
But you can find a recording. You love finding a recording. I think we can hear from outgoing American ambassador McCarthy. We can hear it.
All right, we'll try to get it. So we'll open the phone lines. I don't know, you guys have other things to chip in because we need to take more calls this morning. We are going.
You see, just before we go to the lines, right? The rationale here, it's not that we want to come on the show and just Riley pick force or make palaver with Joseph Bwaka camp. It's to refer you to the very same history, because you asked the question why the Americans were thinking about the certification of these officials. And the American ambassador, when he was leaving, there are a lot of things he said. And again, I will encourage you, many of you who have not listened, to go and listen to what the American ambassador said. That people said they spoke with the embassy and it was okay for them to pick certain running mates. He said America had no participation, and at no point in time such discussion were held. You can find the recording and play and listen to it. He's on record for saying that. When some of our friends on the show, you will clap your committee, why would men like McGill be certificated? But you will not talk about why would even Senator Johnson be contesting and be heavily supporting your side. Because you see nothing wrong with he's supporting you. And that is why you are. And that's why the American has said that is this the best Liberia can do to elect sanctioned officials into public office. And it's not just at the presidency level. It's at the legislature. Even a Bwaka, we imagine a matter McGill in the legislature. What kind of serious thing you would want to do in a legislature? Because you see, corruption, when you get one corrupt element among 30 senators, you don't even know how many other more corrupt individuals will be there. And the country will remain as it is. People will continue to suffer. No significant improvements. The Americans may not do business with you. They may not help you in terms of foreign aid. They may just be on the periphery, if that makes sense.
Okay, so open the phone lines. Those that want to participate can call in now. The phone lines at +231. Those in the diaspora, +231 888 624171. Once again, +231 888 624171. That's the WhatsApp number. 0770-102-102-86-010-383 555-102-102. Let's take this person here. Good morning. Your name is Johnny us from?
Good morning, Bwaka and Darlington and Mr. Gunglo. My name is Napoleon Soso. I'm calling from Los Angeles this morning.
Welcome, Napoleon.
Bwaka, it kind of laughable this morning when I read something this morning. You know, the Liberian people, we are just followers. We are not leaders. When you look at the problem within the Southeast, which is within our region, which is the West African region, and you see that civilians are all doing coup d'etat in West Africa. Alassane Ouattara overthrew the government by running for the third term. And that's why he became president in the first place. Those kind of things can bring coup d'etat. If you look at again in Senegal, president was trying to change the constitution to run for the third term. And if you look at Chad, when Idriss Déby died in Chad, the French, the West African and the Central African region, they never put sanction on the Chadian military leader that took office. That was a coup d'etat. If you look at Guinea, he changed the constitution and he wanted to run, let's say he ran for the third term. So if you look at Liberia, let me end on this one. If you look at Liberia, with everything that going on, look, the French people, I went to school in Africa at the university level at the Félix Houphouët-Boigny University. Let me tell you something. I speak French better than English. The French people, they don't go for nonsense. With what's going on in Liberia is enough. I'm not calling for it, but it's enough, way enough to remove this particular government.
Okay.
Because if you look at corruption, if you look at everything that is happening in Liberia, look at Sir Joseph.
Okay, so
for example,
we'll do it democratically. Now with others, we are not calling for that. Let's take this other person on the line. We are not here to support anything of such. Let's take this person here. Sorry about that. I'm trying to add you to the call. Yeah, let me see if I can take this person. Yeah, we'll do it democratically. We are not calling for anything of such in Liberia. If the Liberian people think that things aren't okay with them again, they can make that decision. 0770-102-102-86, 010383 555 102-102. Those in the diaspora can call the WhatsApp number plus 231-888-624. Good morning.
Morning, Pwaga.
Yeah, anyway, Johnny us from.
Yes, I'm Carter. I'm calling from Monrovia. I want to address something that Darlington keeps saying. You know, when Joseph Pwaga and the people around him or the Unity Party say they need everybody's support to win, it means you actually need everybody's support to win. You need the cooperation of everybody to win the elections. That is why people like Prince Johnson is also very important. But when they go as far as saying Prince Johnson will be the one dictating to Joseph Pwaga, it defeats the argument that they from the Costa can make. That when Costa went as far as saying he was feeding Joseph Pwaga, but after feeding Joseph Pwaga still did not go back to him to ask him who to make vice president. The decision leading Joseph Pwaga picking his vice president was very independent. Okay. He did not go to Bernard Ayure, who was taking him to hospital. So that makes him a very independent person when it comes to decision making. He's not going to kowtow to anybody.
All right. Thank you so much. Now we'll take another person here on the line. This caller. Good morning. Welcome. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Bobby.
Please stop listening to the receiver. Listen to me through your phone. There's a delay when you listen to the receiver.
I already did. I think you can. It's better now.
Yeah, we are good. Go ahead. Your name is Johnny us from.
Okay, my name is Lena. I just want to ask a few questions for you, right? You were in Liberia doing a war, or how old were you when the war was fighting in Liberia?
Which one the war now? We get plenty of war in Liberia.
Okay, the 1994 war, the 1990 war, all the war I fought. I'm not talking about when I'm born. For me, I'm around 40. So when the war was fighting, how old were you?
I was small by that time.
Okay. I just want to let you know that me and you will suffer in our country if you allow people that are sitting in America to come use their platform to encourage violence in our country. You know what? They will not suffer. They're sitting in America and they're sitting in Canada over there. As a kid, I remember how we suffered to walk. As we were walking, they killing people in front of us. As a child, we remember we don't want anything. The power greed in you do it democratically. I'm not talking to you, Bwaga. I'm talking about those that are pushing for the kind of thing to happen. It happening in Africa, it's supposed to happen in Liberia. We know where we pass. If you're not get from there in our country, we got people there. Even if I not get family member there, those that live there, they are human beings. They deserve to be in peace. There's small peace that we enjoy. Your people did a war drum. Your people did a war drum. If you're not able to win the election, you're going to sit down and start back. You will be one of those that will suffer. You know what? Because you're there. Your children there. Your wife there. Your man there. Your father there.
All right. Thank
Do
you.
not encourage him.
Thank you so much. Let's take another person on this line. Good morning. Your name is joining us from?
Yeah, good morning, Bokai. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well.
Let me say thank you. Yeah, let me say thank you for the topic on the discussion this morning. Let me condemn the guy that say he can speak French more than English. First of all, we condemn what he's trying to bring into Mama Liberia, because Liberia is not a French speaking country. What you say will come and put president that will the majority of voted for want to come and take you from power like that. You know, they kind of people just sit in America, they don't get anything to say, but they will call to be bringing the kind of to be telling the Liberia the kind of thing. We condemn that. First of all, let me go to the video let me see the statement that Costa put all the last time. Those are things that Costa been saying. The Unity Party people be aggressive of. You know, when Costa say the truth, when he bring the truth, when he talking, people condemn. Oh yeah, what Costa trying to bring problem into the camp. But that is a reality. It's what the American people don't want. It's what Costa will come out to talk about. Even the session Bennett and the session Bennett when they were bringing when they were talking about session government official in Georgia camp. Costa was the first person that bring it, and people are condemning it and thanking. We see it.
All right, thank you so much. Let's take another caller. We have to make hello.
Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Yeah, yeah. You
Good
have
morning.
to lower your receiver, and listen to me through your phone. Your name is joining us from?
Yeah, I'm joining you from Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, welcome.
The first caller that called, that guy, because he feel don't have nothing in Liberia, so you want to see Liberia destroy. So if another man be his right me who, because of some sleep bad, so he should be and destroy your family. But God will punish that man. That man will not see the good of Liberia. If that man go Liberia, you turn blind. He will suffer. He will never see no good on this son. Do you know where we come from? The Lord will pass you, won't bring her back. God will punish that man. He will never survive. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. We take more calls here this morning. 0770-102-102. Let's take somebody else from here. Good morning. Your name is joining us from?
Buakai, I want to clarify something because I see somebody say when I go to Liberia,
Hello.
be blind.
Okay.
So I have to clarify. Yeah, my name is Napoleon Soso again. I never call for any war in Liberia. If you can go back and play the tape, I said what's happening in Liberia is a recipe for overthrowing government in West Africa. What happened in West Africa is like the people in West Africa, they go for the third term without the knowledge of the population. So you can't strangulate the population.
Hello, Napoleon. We are going for his second term. So
no, listen now.
Come in now, Napoleon. Napoleon, let's have a conversation. Okay. And you saying with the hardship that we are experiencing in Liberia, that should,
it's a recipe.
That should serve as a recipe to not re-elect Weah or to take Weah out of power. Which one you are saying here? Let the Liberian people understand.
Okay. let me make it simple, because Liberians, they always read people's mind.
Yeah.
I did not say that we should be overruled by any government or any military. What I'm saying is that today we're talking about corruption. Today there's no development. You see Nathaniel McGill, you see Vanny Sherman, you see Prince Johnson. All these guys have been sent to court. These are the things that make the military to overtake the government. And if the government is not doing those things, some military guy can wake up in the morning and say, look, with all these things that are happening and the government is not taking action, I'm going to take action. That's what I meant. I'm not saying that they should overthrow government, but Liberians, we always read people's mind.
All right. Thank you so much for making that clarity here this morning, Napoleon. Let's take somebody from this line here. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Walker. Good morning, Darlington brother. I'm Amos calling from New Jersey.
Welcome, Amos.
Yeah, Walker, some people are expressing the anger on the guy who called. He said he speak French, but the English. You didn't know what that man going through. The man, he said in life, this satisfaction bring loose talk. If you are not satisfied with something, and it bring loose talk. That man is a Liberian. He has his people in Liberia, but what going on in our country is not right. Nobody trying to, incite violence in the country. Some of us we left in Liberia the war in 1990. There was nowhere for us to go. We left there in that war feeling, and thank God nothing happened to us. Nobody wants to incite violence in Liberia. But what going on? See what going on? The people who die, the 5 others that have died, even the people who are getting killed, no justice. Tell me what will happen to how the family feeling.
Okay.
Those are the things that can bring people to talk things that they don't want to hear. People saying, "Oh, you saying in America, you did in America." You did. People have people. We are our people in America. I mean Nigeria, and what they're going through is not satisfactory to us.
All right. Thank you so much. We have to make way for other callers. Let's take this person on the WhatsApp number. Good morning. Your name is joining us from.
Yeah, good morning, Walker. This is Vincent here calling from the US.
Welcome, Vincent.
I listen to that guy who talk about Labrador, the way the thing having Labrador can be the one that bring overthrowing. First of all, you must know that those people that you talking, all the countries you talking about, the government, the president overthrow before they become president, or they are part of the overthrowing. So if you look at we are running for presidency for 3 terms in unsuccessful. The third time he went and won the election with 14 votes for all the candidates. So if you look at it, no matter what you do, you went there with election. You don't want to with violence. So you can't even compare them with those other countries. And first of all, you will understand Labrador, the team Labrador part too. Don't even put it in your mind like to talk about torturing, because no matter what you say, those are support where they are majority. Don't even try it. Because if you try it, the country, you think that the country is suffering, but more suffering than even they want to think about. So don't even try about torturing. If you don't want to make vote out, and who we want to be in power. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's take another person here. Good morning. Welcome. Good morning. Hello. Okay, that person isn't ready yet. Let's take somebody else on this line. Good morning.
Good morning, Boyka. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty well. Your name is joining us from?
This is Roland Freeman calling from Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
My take on this whole overthrow issues, for me, I put the blame on ECOWAS. Like the previous caller said, ECOWAS is not ready, taking care of their responsibility in the West African regions in terms of putting into place a proper guidelines as to what people should follow. They sit there and allow these leaders who continue to violate the constitution of these various countries, and the people suffering under them. When you make a call, they don't show up. They only show up when they have crisis. They don't intervene when there's serious issues. And so when people are getting tired of being suppressed, they will rise up at some point in time. And I think ECOWAS need to be more vigorous. I'll give you one example. The Cabinet General case went to ECOWAS court. Cabinet General won the case against Liberian government or the Liberian government. And they were instructed to either reinstate him as a Supreme Court of Justice or pay him $25 million. George Weah, as a president, violated that laws. The very ECOWAS that we are a member of. They refused to give Cabinet General his $25 million. They also refused to reinstate him. Instead, they put somebody else, George Nally, in his place. I think this is a complete violation of both ECOWAS and the Liberian law. And I think ECOWAS had the duty to come in. So let's assume that if the people were tired of listening to these things or witnessing these kind of violations against our law, against our people, what do you think people would do? So the ECOWAS and the leaders in our various countries are responsible for their own actions. They need to put a step up more. Thank you very much.
So ECOWAS ECOWAS need to step up more according to him. We can take roughly about 4 to 5 more calls. Then we Danito, you listen to the callers. Let me get something from you, Fred. You listen to everybody before we can take other callers.
To the guy who called Napoleon's defense, and I'm not defending Napoleon for some of the things he said, but I think it is important that we all listen actively when people are speaking. Napoleon said that with what is happening, it is a recipe for chaos and a recipe for coup d'etat. That's what Napoleon said. Napoleon said when African leaders tend to rig elections, look, rigging election is coup d'etat against the Liberian state. It's not just mean when people want to stage a coup and mean the military want to come and say a president should move. When you have a president who want to override the popular will of the people by getting their say in power and stealing election, those are some of the vices that have contributed to coup d'etat. Look at Guinea. President Alpha Conde. I see people here just beating on Napoleon. And people, we need to listen. Look, take away the sentiments out of it. When you, just like a teenager, when you have unprotected sex, you will get pregnant. You continue to do these things. You continue to run anti-democratic administration. You continue to be corrupt. The people cannot get basic social services. Again, for me, the Liberian question, I don't see possibility because the Liberian society is a reflection of the military. Unlike other countries, they don't play games. They don't have time. You come to power, you corrupt, the military make intervention. You want to extend your term and use subversive means to stay in power, the military topple you, they go after you. So Alpha Conde was going for a term. Look at what happened in Gambia. So leaders will always try to perpetuate their stay in power. And even they call up reference the stealing of the election against the Nigerian people in Nigeria by Bola Tinubu.
Tinubu, yeah.
Tinubu rigged the election. They sent Tinubu is telling you that he got democratic credential to go and reverse what is happening in Niger. He's giving an ultimatum now because he has military, he has big backup, and Nigeria being the superpower in West Africa, they can make military intervention. But Bweka, that is what you will get. And that is why West Africa is the way it is, especially Africa as a whole. The military will continue to, you will hear these things, they will continue to take over. But in our country, the military took over Port once, more than 40 years ago. So it is not possible within our question. So nobody should panic, but nobody should start beating on Napoleon yet because he expressed his opinion or a thought. The leadership of the country is very corrupt. Look, Bweka, you think if Liberia was a serious country, we can leave plenty to go in that country. That what made it we look. Liberia, we are just so meek. And that's why I love the part of the scripture that say, blessed are the meek, for they shall see God. When we all get to heaven, if Liberians are not in heaven, I will ask God a question, why? Because Liberian men, you can wrong him. We are just so overly nice. Oh, yeah, leave it. That the same thing with Ellie. When you want to call protests in a country like Liberia, the government or the day can scare you. Oh, you're so happy here, and we now want war. They put beating war drum. Where has protests been the beating of war drum? This very government, when the Council of Patriots wanted to stage a protest here, wasn't it the government was beating war drum? Even people in opposition felt that You know that if the people are going to come out to the street, they are going to bring war, they are going to bring this. Ain't that the kind of narrative they can peddle, Bweka? But you come to power.
Sure.
In 6 months' time, you manage to build multiple condominiums. You must show us that kind of magic. How? How can you run a poor country like ours? How much are you making that you come to power, you can build all that kind of homes? How you come to power? Hospitals don't even have electric power, but you have private jets. You take private jet here and there. You make expensive trips. A poor country like ours, the president go on a social safari. He leaves the country for about 30 days, and everybody okay. Then the minister, the chief of staff of the military, Prince C. Johnson, take to public radio and make a very blanket and reckless and sweeping statement that people in America have been calling to overthrow the Liberian administration. My man, the chief of staff should have been investigated for that comment, and that is why I like the U.S. system. The National Security Council could have called the chief of staff he need to tell us who are those forces in America, who are his friends, who are reaching behind him to overthrow Mr. Weah. You just made all kind of sweeping statement. So, Bweka, it is not just with Mr. Weah. Even in the Liberian struggle, the Liberian political history, maybe when some of us are 80 years old, the generation to come, they may not stomach some of the stupidity that this generation is stomaching. The generation to come, there may be young men with fire in their bellies. They may not want to be timid and meek like you and myself. To say, and let's just go to the pool and vote Jawia out. But my question to you, Bweka, and to our people, why if we go to the pool and the people vote Mr. Weah out, and Mr. Weah want to steal the election to stay in power, then what? What will we do? If Mr. Weah steals the election from the opposition, do you have the ability of confronting him? Are you prepared for such confrontation? You are talking about a UFO gang of kleptocrats who want to stay in power. You are not talking about the old guys of the Chewing Party. You are not dealing with older men who are in their 60s and 70s. You are going after a very UFO regime with so much energy. So again, you go into an election with no contingency plan. How do you intend to mobilize your people? Like somebody commented here. It took a radical Master Sergeant Doe to even stage a coup in the country to say, hey, the American Liberians have held power for so long. I think it's about time that they leave. Because the Chewing Party, it was not because the Chewing Party stayed in power. It was because the Chewing Party came to power. They were only decide who will go as superintendent in Cape Town, who will go as superintendent in this place. There were no democratic elections held. It was all about them and their few friends who could stay in power. You know how a viable legislature, even though the Chewing Party was not as corrupt as in recent government has been. We who indigenous people now, we've come to power. How? After all these years of struggle. Mama, do you know one of the 13 men that was executed on the firing squad? Omen Richard Chelsea, you know how much was in his bank account in Chase Manhattan? That old man had less than $40 in his account. But we took power and put them to jail to firing squad for rampant corruption, for abuse of public trust. But in our country, when people engage in rampant corruption, the people of Magibbi say they want 10 of my girls. You wonder why they the way it is? Because my girl will build a little road. Mama, a man like Eddie Snow will still be in bombing. Where he lives in his bombing. If you are running in bombing, you don't have a big house like Eddie Snow, don't even contest. Because the people say Snow building house in bombing is development. How is Snow building his own private property is development to the people of bombing? Oh yeah, Ali and the man, you say the man road parliament bay. Bweka, that is the country we have. So you will continue to see military take over in the sub-region. Liberia is a very peculiar case because they see regular Liberian men, yeah, that leave it, even when they step on your toe with a fire, you say, oh, yeah, just leave out to go. Liberia will just chicken at Ali, thing will go make chicken and get it.
Okay, Daddy, let's take a few more calls.
I know what Mama's telling you. I tell you to wrap up, but you say we'll take call. So go ahead.
Yeah, let's take three calls. Then we can, I listen to you keenly and the issue about snow And even if Snow not lift your hair or not supporting you one way or the other, for me, you
You're
can
not
become a lawmaker.
Yeah.
Certain person. Let's take this person on the line. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Your name is joining us from.
Good morning, Baka. This is Solo Kamara calling from Minnesota.
Welcome, Solo.
Baka, it's laughable, it's like the last time I told you, right? You tell the two when people report in the city, what do you expect? They beat on Joseph Baka, any kind of way they want to beat on Joseph Baka. But that's okay, that's politics. But like we're talking about Prince Johnson, Joseph Baka supporting Prince Johnson. America, right? Let me tell you something today. Mark did Baka. America, if they're not in your favor, better. If you do any kind of deal to get rid of you. Prince Johnson was dealing with Ellie. All the corruption that Ellie was doing. Then I become a lot Ellie. Trust me, they were not really after anybody else. But right now, the reason, to my understanding, the reason they put a sanction on Prince Johnson, because they know that if Prince Johnson remain like this, he support we are going to go buying power and then the country going to go back. So what we do to supply this guy, let police sanction, because I can sanction, they said pay by pay. What that mean, So and the people I've seen, they look at I come in but they let me be,
Yeah, so you think within yourself that they place the sanction on Prince Johnson because his support to Joshua, that's what they never wanted, that's why they placed the sanction,
Right.
That's why you believe?
Right, that man believes, and that's how I look at it, right? Other people, everybody get different opinion, that man opinion, and that's how I believe, and I'm sure that's what going to be. Right after Baga only election, trust me, that thing, the opinion, the track, trust me, it's not going to go nowhere.
Okay, thank you.
But right now, they gotta say our
nowhere.
The message is not let you better. What is say?
No, go ahead quickly, brother. We have to take other callers. We are running out of time.
And I know better. That was say the gun guy is saying that this is job guy is a bad guy. So what you expect? That's a view. But I'm just saying that.
Different color. Don't waste our time, Mbweka. You saying the same one or so we not have brothers support Gonglo?
And I open up this platform to everybody. If you think you Joseph Baga male, come and discuss. They have their right to canvass for their mayor, their political leader, Gonglo, but they should do it in a way that it will not affect our show. There's a show. The show is open up to everybody. Those that if you calling from the Baga camp, they can canvass for Baga. I'm not stopping you from doing that. So the thing is open up to everybody. Let's take this person. We'll take the good morning, welcome.
Good morning, brother.
Yeah, your name is joining us from.
I'm Peter P.T. calling from Nimba Senikode.
Welcome.
Yeah, what all of you discussing is okay. We all know what is happening in the country is very bad. We took over this country. I mean, we took over this country to redeem us and football, nothing, everything that we had to scatter. For 8 people that Manjo will be something in the country for me, I don't know. People that much ability, they are all criminal in something. So I don't know. But the fact remains that we have to fight with one voice as an opposition. But right now, Joseph Baga got it numbers. Which occupying just each and now you fight in the market, half for Nimba, half for Senikode belt, for Tesco number 2. To fight in the country is very tough. I'm a supporter of man, either one go away. 2 or we are 4 days, we can make it. It's very tough. Baga. I was thinking that Baga, Prince Johnson supporting Baga now. You can see Baga is tapping the whole of Nimba. You will see for yourself. Second to Baga will be maybe the CDC. But right now, it's not easy.
All right.
Baga, it's not easy. So that's my point.
All right, we'll take our last caller. Yeah, the last person, +231 888 he's calling from Nimba County. That's his view. We take our last caller, those in the diaspora, +231 888 4171. Bibra Larry Kennedy, we want you to be our guest on tomorrow. There are few things that I want to hear from you. The last time when you're on the show, when Costa was here, You later on said that you're pledging your support to Joseph Newman Boakai. So there are a few things I want to ask you, Bibero Larry Kennedy, and I will send your message. I want you to be with us on tomorrow. I think Darlington, please try to make your way tomorrow. Let's ask Bibero Larry some tough questions tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm here.
So we take our last, yeah. We take our last caller 0770-102-102-86-010-383. If there's no call, then we'll wrap it up. We just started what's in flagging what's happening in the sub-region. We are not in support of it happening in Liberia. Don't get us wrong. No, we are never, it will never call for such thing to happen in Liberia because we know where we passed before, we are not yearning to go there. So we are just, it's a trending news in West Africa. It make a news, so that's why we brought it up today for us to discuss it. Neighboring Sierra Leone, Guinea. So if it can happen in Guinea and we're hearing it in Sierra Leone, we are just curious here in Liberia. That's why we said let's bring it up today and discuss it. So Darlington,
Larry is telling you and myself. He said there are no tough questions, but rather they are only hard truth. So don't bring Larry Kennedy on this platform if you and your audience and myself, if we are not interested in listening to the hard truth. And on this platform, Boakai, all I've tried to do here for us is to be fair, balanced, and objective and present the truth undiluted. Boakai Kamara, just because you are my friend doesn't mean that we reason the same way or we think the same way. My criticism for the Unity Party and Joseph Boakai has been on the issues and very objective and nothing but the issues. And I've said here, if the Liberian people subject these elections to Joseph Boakai and George Weah and gave us as these two optional alternatives, I have never been neutral in politics. Darlington Collins, as I know myself, I will openly endorse Joseph Boakai, but with little expectation. With little expectation that you are doing business with these same corrupt people that our international friends have warned you. You just want to come to power so that you feel only your few friends and yourself around you, and the vast majority of our people suffer. But that's how the Liberian people are. Oh, like the men who carry no. Is JMB a political agenda? Oh, we want JMB. What is JMB? That JMB will carry? No. Joseph Boakai must be telling us how he wants to transform this country. You cannot be making the same mistakes that the likes of Edwin Snow. Look, listen, I don't work for Bernard Yure. I don't know why you want me to talk about here. To say we can criticize Bernard Yure on the show. What about Yure? Yure have his own excesses. He was sanctioned by the United Nations, not the U.S. government. I don't know any U.S. sanction that Mr. Yure is on. If that Yure won't be president of our country?
No.
Mr. Yure don't want to be president, so don't make it to law that Bernard Yure is exempt from public scrutiny on this platform. I don't work for him. He don't pay me salary. I'm very free in my thought process with him. And Joseph Boakai have said that if he's president, he will bring the war and economic crimes code. So if we believe that Mr. Yure stole money from Liberian public treasury when he was at Maritime, keep your evidence when the court of tribunal is set up, we can prosecute Mr. Bernard Yure. But you can, the same thing, you criticize him for his association with Taylor. But you don't want to criticize Mr. Joseph Boakai for aligning with Prince Johnson and other people who are actively, currently on U.S. sanctions. So we must be able to tell our people they are true. That is why the country is continue to remain the way it is. Because sometimes we want to focus on the question of victory, but we don't answer the concern of leadership. Your international friends are warning you, you just want to win because politicians will play politics. In the end, the traditional politician will not suffer. Mr. Weah, since George Weah became president, name one serious major concession that have gone to that country. It was the excessive ones that Madam Salif and the Unity Party left there. So the economic climate, Boakai, is not viable for people to want to come to your country and do business. When America sanction you, American corporation, whether they are merger corporation, people who own, shares in certain American companies, they will not do business with you. And the last time Larry was on this platform, Larry even delved deeper into those kinds of analysis. American sanction is not a trial process, whether they'll find you guilty or not guilty. It's a political action tool based on the facts available to them. Oh, we just won't win. Okay, y'all win, like all people suffer. So now when we criticize Joseph Boakai, we don't hate old man Joe. I was privileged to sit No. He's a very nice old man. But that doesn't mean that if Joseph Boyka is ill-advised, if Joseph Boyka is not offering any fresh ideas, we cannot criticize him, we cannot point it out. I am not a bandwagonist. I will not just follow the breeze because the people say they want no. We must ask critical questions to say, our people, you are going this way, but it could potentially lead you to trouble. If you subject the elections to Joseph Boyka and Jawia, yeah, you will get on it. Any day, Joseph Boyka will bring responsible governance, to Liberia than George Weah. So you will compel some of us now to probably support him in the second round. But that does not address the economic issues in the country. That does not put food on our people's table. That does not transform the country that we want it to be. The culture of impunity. The culture of impunity. You're making these kinds of compromises now. Can you imagine Joseph Boyka breaking mail at Ellis Tyler? They say they want to rescue country. Boyka, if that is not concerning to you, it's very concerning to me. They say, oh, he's a mayor, oh my, will change. The wedding will be good, you will know from the eve. So we all love our country. Our criticism of Boyka is very much objective and on the issues. On the issues. I don't care to know what kind of soup Joseph Boyka is cooking to your house. It's not my business. But on the issues. Because he wants to be president of my country, it's my duty to ask him questions. And no one Liberian is more Liberian than the other. We all love our country. Even some of you who support Boyka. I respect you. It is your view. It is your right. Some of us who support Councillor Gonglo, you must respect us too. We don't come on the show here and all we talk about is Councillor Tiamon Gonglo. We support Gonglo and we will remain unapologetic to support our side. When we come on this platform, you want to say something negative about Councillor Gonglo that is not true, we will respond appropriately. We will respond appropriately. We'll not allow anybody to come here and say, oh, they will come and spew your lies about Councillor Tiamon Gonglo, and you expect to sit down here and say, because when we now want to make this show a Gonglo show, we'll not respond. No. This is the Costa Show. It's not a Gonglo segment. Because when we talk about our candidate again here, I tell you now, moving forward, we'll be coming on the show here now. We'll be giving you a fresh update about Councillor Gonglo, his activities, and the LPP. Boyka, thank you.
All right, folks. So, Big Brother Larry will be up with us. When I say I want to ask him a few questions, I want to know from him